And next, we have the K-91-2. So this is basically the K-91 at tier 10, with the turret mounted in the middle, then in the back. They shifted around the engine compartment and the crew compartment, but alright. So it's only a paper tank. It was designed from March through August of 1949. So alrighty then, but it's a K-91 with a turret at the middle. Doesn't look that much different, I mean model wise. So remember this dent on the mud flaps or whatever that thing is called, and we'll see the difference in terms of design with the actual K-91. Alright, so it's a little bit different. The dents are different, so exactly a different model technically, quote unquote, but it's not exactly as putting the turret from the K-91 to the middle and shifting around the other stuff. So alright, I mean okay. It doesn't have the log anymore, and there's no exhaust right here. The exhaust is put in the back, so technically there is work done on the vehicle model, so cannot complain about that much. But it's a K-91 with the turret at the front. Is it better though? So 100mm, same old Russian gun, 0.36 accuracy, not as good as the K-91, but then again it's at tier 9, 2.1 seconds of aim time, Russian pen, so default pen for a tier 9 medium. DPM is kinda good. DPM is actually pretty great. 2,600, alright. View range is below average, 390. It should be the same turret. Why does it have the same view range? Balance, mostly. So crew of 4 fits all Russian mediums, not heavies, it's a medium. But let's take a look at the other stats. So 246mm of pen, 320 alpha. It's likely APCR for the standard shell and high explosive anti-tank for the gold shell. Gold shell is 330, so the good old high penetrating gold shell spam from T-54 or 430 version number 2 as well. 2,700 DPM with a good crew, with a 100% crew, so that's very good. This thing pumps out a lot of damage, and unfortunately, with the mounting of the turret at the front, it doesn't get as much gun depression, even though it should. Still 5 degrees. That still sucks, but then again, it's still Russian. Gun traverse, pretty quick. That's the turret traverse speed, so it's a medium. It turns very quickly. 0.35 accuracy is not great, but it's average. 2 seconds of aim time, average. It's still good, above average, but sometimes you'll miss. Sometimes, but this thing reloads pretty quickly, so just spam all the shots. Whoa! 1750 health for a medium. This is a medium, this is not a heavy. It's a tier 9 medium Russian, and it gets the same health as a STRVK. So, alright. I mean, they might get more health for the Conqueror or something. Conqueror has like 1950 health or something. But frontal hull armor is actually 175? Interesting. So let's take a look at the armor package. 175 for the upper plate. That's actually decent for a heavy. Quote unquote, some heavies. So 210mm, lower plate is 188. Turret front is 230 rounded. Don't even think about penetrating turret front. And you do have the commander cupola weak spot. The loader cupola seems a lot better protected and rounded. So mostly hit the commander cupola. So it's like the T-62A in terms of penetrating the commander cupola. But you do have exposed hull roof in a sense, so you might be able to shot trap by shooting at the lower parts of the turret, and the shot will bounce into the hull upper plates or hull roof. That's only 40mm. I mean, you cannot overmatch this normally, but okay, interesting. Side armor is 80. You can side scrape, but it's not as good as the K-91, obviously. It's a frontally mounted turret. Engine deck is 40. Rear armor is garbage. Don't even think about it. But There are no side skirts. Why is this green? It's like a box of green. Ooh, there's actually 150mm parts for the frontal proportion of the side armor. So you might be able to bounce a little bit more shots. Never mind. I lied. Oh, okay. I mean, slightly better protected, but... Oh, so that's what they mentioned. It mentioned in the text that there were ski-shaped supports used as support rollers for the wheels or for the tracks. So that's why there's a sloped 150 on the track section of this vehicle. So that means it's like a Churchill tank. They have support sponsons coming from the tracks. So if you shoot through the tracks, like right here, if you manage to pin and damage the vehicle, you will also detrack at the same time. Basically meaning, if you improperly angle this tank or position this tank from a building where this side of the tank is cut off and you're only exposing the tracks, sometimes you will be perma-tracked if they constantly hit the tracks and then hitting the armor underneath. So that might be a problem. So it's always been a big problem for the Churchills, but Churchills are like tier 5s. Okay. Alright, it's still a medium, so don't expect to bounce a lot of shots, but the turret is very strong to bounce shots, so that's good. About 17 horsepower per ton ratio, 800 horsepower engine, weighs more than a heavy tank for the previous comparisons, but about 48 tons, top speed of 50, about 17 horsepower per ton ratio. Hull traverse, medium tank hull traverse. It's fast. I mean, it's relatively fast. It's not crazy fast, but it will get you to where you need to go. So, I mean, it's a medium tank. What do you expect? It's good. But camo is not bad. It's supposed to be decent as a sniping medium. So obviously don't compare this to the K-91 at tier 10. It's two different buckets. K-91 has a lot better sniping accuracy and a lot more DPM and view range, but this thing has only 390. Compare about 410 on the K-91. But, oops, let me preview. 1 second. Yeah, 410 for the K-91. Oh, both things has 140 for the upper plate front and 400 meters of view range. So 410. Turret kind of looks a little bit different on the actual K-91. Interesting. I never noticed it before, but the loader cupola is more prominent on the actual K-91. You also have the sponson thing. Ah, so that's where I need to learn to shoot. But yeah, the loader cupola is more prominent on the actual K-91 than the K-91-2, but obviously you're not going to compare the DPM and the firepower. This thing has 9 degrees of gun depression. What? I thought it was 5. My god, a rear placed turret has more gun depression than a forward mounted turret. Russian? What? That doesn't make sense. This thing has only 5 degrees compared to the 9 degrees. Huh? Alright, I mean, I will probably rate, I haven't mentioned the rating on the STRV-K, but STRV-K feels like a 7 or 6.5. It doesn't, I mean, it's like a medium tank, it's average. Yeah. This tank feels, let's see, compared to the 430 version number 2 is, I don't know, I mean, both have DPM, both have accuracy. This thing has better DPM at the cost of accuracy, but it has more health, which is great. View range is the same, right? Less than the 430 version number 2. Camo is about the same. Gun traverse speed is the same. Is there a limitation on the gun traverse? I don't think so. It's a fully traversable turret. I presume it's a fully traversable. I presume it's a fully traversable turret, but it does rev up faster. Alright. I mean, it's like a 430 version number 2, but you have the turret at the front. Basically. How much gun depression does 430? Only 4 degrees. Well, if you're choosing a medium tank, if the medium tanks were a choice between the tier 9 special rewards, like the UDS 03 version number 3, which we already covered, this thing doesn't have armor though. This thing, we already covered this. This thing doesn't have armor, so I will probably just choose the Companzer 50T. Yeah, I would just choose the current rank battle reward, which I'm struggling against getting the stupid coins for. Yeah, the Char Future 4, it's frontline, so technically you could get it, or it's for Steel Hunter. So I will probably give this thing a 7 as well. It doesn't feel like there's nothing eye-catchy other than the health and the turret front, but it has less gun depression than a rear-mounted turret for some reason. I mean, it does have a lot of DPM, so I'll give this thing like a 7.5. If this thing has gun depression, I'll probably give it a 8, but it only has 8 degrees of gun depression, so it's a sniping medium. So it's like a T-54 in a sense, but T-54 has hull armor, decent hull armor against like tier 7s. This thing doesn't. T-54, I will currently give it a. What the hell is the Russian tanks? T-54, I will probably give it a. It's still good, and you do have the choices of the guns, but if you're playing the T-54, might as well spam high explosive anti-tank shells. So, yeah, you do have the choice of 2 different guns, and the guns have different penetration values. I'll give it a. I don't want to nerf this thing, but base DPM is how much? Base DPM is what? Oh, it's 100mm. What the hell? Incompatible turret. That's not the gun. Base DPM is wow. It has better DPM. I'll give it an 8 then. Yeah, this thing got power crap for some reason. It was one of the best mediums at tier 9, but it kind of feels power crept. Only giving it 8 because of the high DPM. Maybe I shouldn't, but it doesn't feel as comfortable as shooting with gun depression. Gun depression is so good when you think about it. There were so many covers, and gun depression will take dramatically different angles of approaching or attacking enemies. 7.5. I mean, only giving a 7 for the STRVK because it's not as exciting. Well, yeah, it's not as exciting. Alright, moving on to the last vehicle.